Hey guys, well this is it. We've got the 1984 Honda 200X in the shop today. Some good news, we sold the Volkswagen Passat. That is gone. We're working on becoming debt free if we can. So now we've got this 1984 200X, and this is totally paid for. This was actually something that I bought quite a long time ago. It was probably around 2010 actually. Didn't look like this. I bought it. It stopped running. I got it fixed. It stopped running again. I gave it to Dad. Dad got it running again. And now here it is today, not running all these years later, the year's 2025. Long story short, I am getting older. I'm not old, but I'm getting older. Dad is getting older. We're not going to call Dad old, but he's getting older. And the machine is just not something that we ride anymore. I can't believe every time I pull into the shop, I can see this sitting here and sitting out in the yard actually, just slowly deteriorating. And I can't believe I've got it, but don't ride it. But Julie said we've got things going on. That's just how life works. We've got other stuff. So this is just stuff, but we're going to see if somebody else can get a nice toy. We're going to clean it up. It doesn't run right now. I'll try to start it up here in a moment. Thanks for being here. Let's see if we can move this down the road. Just going to swing it around so I can show you that it doesn't start. Now Dad went the extra mile on this. He put your fender support on here. He's got the headlight grill, I guess you could say, the wire mesh, and then he's got also the headlight guard in general. One of the things that these 200Xs in 84 didn't come with, or any of the 200Xs, is a choke cable where you could choke it by hand. But Dad did go ahead and put that on there. See, we got everything is on, the lights are off, set to run. This was such a nice machine, and it still is, but we got to sell it before it's no longer a nice machine and it's just like a decent machine. I would be surprised if it starts. It might fire up once or twice. It might try to fire up. We've got it fully choked right now. Let's back it down to the first. Normally this would have started up on the second kick, third kick. And it's not going to go. And that's what it is. I got a Central Machinery ultrasonic cleaner from Harbor Freight just the other day. I'm looking forward to using that because I did a video on this maybe about a year ago, not quite, almost. In that video that I did, I took the carb off, got it running, but it would just idle. It wouldn't stay running, so I don't know if that even really counts. So let's go ahead and work on doing the same thing this time here. Got a couple rubber grommets that we're going to take off. I think those got to come off. It's got plenty of fuel in here, and potentially that fuel could be bad. Not too much spillage there, so that's good. Tank is still in good shape. It's got a little bit of surface rust on it. Not too bad. You guys can see that. It's where the seat always rubs. It's got a little tiny bit of bubbling out there on the surface. And that's something that just kind of happens from sitting outside. It's been happening for a while. Slowly, slowly. I think it would be good to drain that fuel out. What do you guys think? Probably not worth taking the chance if we're going to clean the carburetor the right way, just to throw some bad gas down there again. I've been switching it up, and we only use the unleaded nowadays. We don't throw the ethanol in there anymore. I used to throw ethanol in this all the time. I'm not sure if that's what it has right now. It's very possible. And that in itself can be problematic. If you tuned in the past for a couple of our other videos, did a kind of like a resto mod, budget restoration on a Honda 250 ES, Big Red, 1985. And that was fun. That one stayed in the shop way too long. I took too much time getting to it, to be honest. So that should be ready to come out now. I think we need to grab a 10, little ratcheting wrench. I like to put all my tools away even as I'm doing the job, so oftentimes you won't catch me with a whole bunch of tools out just laying around. Our last project with the Jeep Liberty light bar, that one definitely, I had stuff laying all over the place. That was a while. That project took a little while to do. There we go. Get this disconnected from the air box here. One too big there. It must be is that a 9? No, that's 10. Thinking about getting another toolbox. I'm kind of partial to what I have. I tend to become a creature of habit or comfortability, or whatever you would like to say. I like the US General Series 2 toolboxes, and now they just have the Series 3s. So what do I do? What'd you guys do? Is that gonna come off? Come on. So do I go with the US General Series 3? The thing I like about them is they got the chrome right here, or the stainless look. The new ones are black. It's not a big deal. It is just stuff, just like this. The good part about doing this type of stuff with you guys and gals is we get to have fellowship while we do this. We get to have that camaraderie, whatever that word means, but it's good to do stuff together. This tire is a little flat. That tire is a little flat. This one is also a little flat. These don't have to have a lot of air though. This one might be right where we put it by design. Throttle cable with the needle comes right off. That looks all nice and clean still. No problems there. Just gonna let that hang down. Crystal's in the shop hanging out with me today as usual. It's always nice. She likes to hang out. What is that? The screw just fell out of this thing. Oh, that's for the clamp here. We're just gonna put that back in just enough. Maybe we can just slide it off of there maybe. There we go. How many of you guys and gals got 3-wheelers? There's not many gals that watch this channel, to be honest. My wife would be one of the very few. You guys got wheelers of any kind? Let's see if we can pull this out of there, I suppose. Is that plugged up? No, looks good. Now, if I remember right, there's a little trick potentially to getting this out. I can't quite remember. It's definitely got the choke cable on this side. Let's take a look at that. Ah, yes, there it is. Comes off nice and easy. Now that the choke cable's free, let's see if we can maneuver this thing out of here. And I think all the rubber seals were good, if I remember right. Otherwise, I would have changed them. It's a nice day today. Furnace still likes to kick in though because it's a little chilly out yet, you know how that stuff goes. Taking the rest of the choke cable off here. See if we can not lose that. It's just a little piece that holds it on, the bracket. Keep that all together, and now let's see if we can get this off. Maybe. How are we coming off of here? Got a little crankcase vent hose that I'm gonna remove, and now I think it's gonna come out a lot easier here. Come on up, Crystal. You're always welcome. And there we go, it's out. It's got feel in it. Float seems fine. But obviously there wasn't feel going into the engine. I don't think the spark plug is fouled out. Is the spark plug connected? Oh yeah. Yeah, feel's coming out. There's not much to this little thing. We're just going to take this apart real quick. There was a lot of bad fuel in here. Even after cleaning it up, I mean, I cleaned it up and this has had hardly any run time on it at all. And it's got lots of junk that I can see in here that I can scrape on. So who knows what's clogging up all of this, but it's definitely clogged up somewhere. We're going to remove this seal. Is this seal kind of hard? Might be, not as in hard to remove, but hard as in hardened up a little bit. Potentially we're going to try to reuse it. It wasn't leaking, so I think that'll be okay. If it does leak, well, then we got to replace it, but try to get it off nice and, ooh, I think it's probably meant to be like that where it separates out. I don't think that's broken. See what this looks like. Oh, can you see in the bottom in there? It's dirty. This also has a seal on it. I think we'll try to take that off. Everything else looks pretty good. Maybe it's on the briefcase. Look it up. Oh yeah, it's right here. Samsonite. I was way off. That is my attempt to be funny, guys. I used to be a jokester, and I still do make jokes sometimes, but typically they're not funny because I just don't have it anymore. You know what I'm saying? It's the choke. Wowzers, yeah, choke definitely works. What's that? Oh yeah, that's for the choke. That's the cable. Super cool, actually. How's that go back together? Anybody know? It's got 3 different settings there. I don't necessarily feel like taking this apart any farther, but I'm going to, out of necessity. Needle right here, flathead screwdriver. You can see that. Should be able to crack it open. Definitely could be dirty in there. That was all the way bottomed out. Just make a note of that. There it is. That's pretty tiny. Show you. Should always be a spring in there on the bottom. And that's it. I don't think there's any gaskets in there, but this is what it should look like. Going right in the bottom here between your 2 floats. Now we're just going to push out the rod that holds the floats on. There we go. Should come out pretty easy. I'm just using a little pick. There it is. You want to make sure this goes in only one way. Let me show you how it is. You can see how the orientation is, right? It's going to come out. You got your float, and then you've got your seat or needle. I don't know exactly what's that thing's called, but that's what it is. Now here on this side, you're going to see the brand EMSTD. I don't know why it says that with a check mark right here. This is going to be your adjuster screw. So we're going to take that out all the way. And that's dirty. It's got to be dirty in there. Put that right there. Okay, now we got just below the bottom here, we've got another needle that we gotta, or jet that we gotta remove. Best done with a very small screwdriver instead of something like this. And this is what that looks like. I'm going to show you the difference. Keep in mind the 2. The shorter with those little tiny holes, you see them? That's going to go up here underneath your main jet, if I'm using the right word. I'm not a mechanic, I'm just a guy trying to make his stuff work. Trying to afford to keep things running, trying to not buy new, trying to have fun with what I have. So anyways, this goes right up here with the spring. This goes down here on the bottom. All right, so 1, 2, 3, taking it out. And this jet is the longest one of all. And I can tell that it's going to be doing a lot of good to go into the ultrasonic cleaner. And this thing as well, I took this, I blew it out with compressed air, with brake clean, all that stuff, but it just doesn't get very clean unless you're putting it through the ultrasonic cleaner, which is right here in front of me. I think it's always good to take pictures, helps me understand where things go. I'd really like to have a nice, big, long workbench. This one's not gonna be it. I'm gonna replace this, hopefully. I don't wanna sound spoiled at all. I have the want to have the new stuff, right? But I don't have the need to have the new stuff. I went ahead and I got this Central Machinery ultrasonic cleaner from Harbor Freight because I couldn't get this to run. I cleaned that carburetor out twice and I still couldn't get it to run and idle. Maybe because of the bad gas, that's possible, but very possible just because of how dirty it was in there. That could have been from the bad gas too. But I felt that I needed that. I can't remember how much that was, $89, $137, something like that. This is their big one. When you turn it on, it just comes on to these settings right here. I know it kind of flashes on the screen. 15 minutes, temp setting is at 40. And I'm gonna turn it up so it runs for about 30 minutes. And how do I do that? Temp, heating switch timer, 20, 25, 30. There we go. This is what I was taking a picture of. Got all the individual jets here. Small, a little bit bigger with the spring. This one's also got the spring. I just want to be able to line them up so that way when I get them back out of the cleaner, I can put them back together. And I think this is ready to go in. I'm not going to spray it down with brake clean and scrub it and stuff. I'm just going to throw it in the ultrasonic cleaner. We've got our jet, all of that stuff. This is where it's going to go. This is a combination of Simple Green and distilled water. Hey, Crystal. Hi. I can't pet you because I got greasy hands. There's some before pictures. Can you see the grease up in there? Maybe. Not the grease, but the grime. I actually wonder if I have something that I can put these jets in, because they're going to slip right through. But I suppose that's okay. I can just drain it out. So I will separate them, drop them in. It will be okay. I'm going to drop these little bolts in there too. Why not? Clean them all up since we're here. All right, the carb going in. I am going to take out this other seal on the other side here. I'm going to keep the floats out. Would you guys put the float in there? I'm going to keep it out because I just don't want to have these things crack on me. It's not broken. Doesn't have any tiny holes or anything like that, so we'll just keep that out. There it goes. It's kind of annoying to listen to. I don't like to use the word annoying, but I mean, not like I'm going to be mad about it, but it just... Oh, check this out. Look at all that. Already just starting it up. It's coming right out the carb. The carb's on this side. The bowl is on this side. The needles are over here. You guys think that we can fix the wheeler? Yeah, it's just a carb build, but still, fix the wheeler. Run it, drive it, test it out, clean it up, check the oil, probably change the oil, and then sell this thing all in one video. That's my hope. What do you guys think this is worth? Got a nice 200X seat here. It's recovered and in really good condition. We got the 200X OEM fenders with the aftermarket reproduction decals on both sides. And if you just look at it, it's got the nice front headlight with that grille on it, along with this thick protector, the guard, and then it's got your front fender support bracket. Dad went through a lot of work, did a lot of time searching on eBay to find this stuff. It's got the original fender that it had on it, which allows for that air cooling. When I bought it all those years ago. It does need a little bit of paint down here if you wanted to make it a show machine, I guess. Could probably eventually use some new tires. I mean, they've been ridden on, but it's a three-wheeler. It's not like you're gonna slip around a whole bunch on those. And it's got some really nice grips on the back. I put these new tires on here when I moved closer to home, closer to Mom and Dad. Dad went ahead and put a new disc brake on the back. The rest of it is pretty much original. We did get some DG exhaust back here, and this was a nice matte black when we got it. It took about 5 rides and it turned into that. I could possibly just take that off and quick refinish it, but it's kind of deceiving because the next guy that gets it, it's going to be like, wow, this is really nice looking exhaust. I got it from DennisKirk.com. Then after he rides it for about 5 times, it might start rusting through again, and I just want him or her, I guess, to get it as it is and see it for what it is. Hey, good morning. Actually, it's good afternoon. I'm back. Yeah, it's been a few days. I got a little distracted. I've been working on this old air compressor that I got for $50. Saved it from the scrapyard. 5 gallons, 5 horsepower, 80 gallon. And this is model number 919-177-251. Parts for these are hard to come by. The word on the street is the compressor was probably getting weak. This isn't the right motor, that is. So they pulled the compressor motor off. They were just going to junk the whole thing. So $50 later, I got it. Anyways, back to the task at hand. Do got to share one thing with you guys though. Today I was working on the 2006 black Jeep Liberty CRD, and that thing's been losing just a little bit of coolant at a time, so I'm thinking I had gasket with these things. This morning I fixed a cracked PCV hose, and when I was fixing that, I noticed one of the coolant hoses on top is leaking, so that's a pretty good surprise. Hopefully that's just the problem. I'm going to get to that later. It's good to have successes, at least a couple successes per day if you can. Maybe big, maybe small. I tend to discount or lessen the impact of smaller impacts that are sometimes made, or smaller successes. But I'd like to encourage you guys to remember any success, whether big or small, is good. So keep that in mind. Don't be like me, and sometimes I think I didn't get the big success story done today, or hit the home run YouTube video, or something like that. Something big didn't happen with church work today. You know, take the big with the small and be thankful for them all. I ran this for about 45 minutes the other night. Put it all in. I don't know the difference between the castings here, but you can see the look of this one. See how it's got a different sheen to it now? This one's it's like it had some sort of a chemical reaction with the simple green and distilled water. But this side didn't. And I think it was all purchased new. This may come like that. I'm not for sure, but I had a new one just sitting in this bag right here. So I put a new gasket on it. This one's going to make sure we don't have any leaks. Glad I had that on hand so I don't have to wait for parts. And now we just got to put this back together. And it's pretty nice out today. It's pretty windy, but the temperature is good. So I might be able to take that thing out for a rip. I don't know how much I rip these days. Like a joyride compared to some of you guys and gals. But maybe we'll do it. Got the gas all drained out of there. So let's keep moving forward here. Something I want to point out, I did grab a little fuel filter from O'Reilly. They had them on hand. I grabbed 2 of them. They normally keep these in stock. They're about $6.99, $7 a piece. More expensive than we're used to, but that's because of the way things are. You're going to find that they typically only fit, see if I can show you this here, they only really fit where they're supposed to go. So you got your main right here. It's just going to fall inside of that. This one right here is going to be too short. Careful so you don't break that little tiny tip there. And then if you go right in here, you got 2 of them that are kind of similar. This one, it's not going to go all the way down, almost, but you can't thread it in, if you can see that. Then there's this one right here where it threads right in. So just make sure you know which springs go where. So we'll just start off by putting our first one in. Again, be gentle as you do this. It's going to bottom out eventually, and then just leave it there. Next, we've got our little silver. It's got a more robust spring on it. And that's going to go right down in here. You can tell because it doesn't go in there. Doesn't go in there, that's for sure. Right here. So you're going to push your spring down a little bit. Oh, you know what? Hey, see, you've seen it online right there. You've seen it real live. It doesn't go there. This is going to be your adjustment screw. Let's find it. It's gonna go right there. I could tell because it wasn't threading in the way it's supposed to. Now this is one that I just go all the way down until it stops, and then I'll back it out slowly. Let's see, right there. How about we do this? We'll go 1, 2, 3. That's like 1.5 turns. 3 half turns. Now we don't have any springs left on the table. What we do have is we've got this jet right here. It's all cleaned up. It's not going to go in the long one. It's going to go in this one right down here. I don't know the technical terms for this, for these things, but you can see I don't have to be a mechanic to make it happen. And I am not one of those. YouTube certified. Next one's going to go right in here. This is going to be your big jet. I use a 6 metric to snug it down just a little bit. So there it is, your adjuster, your other valves. All good. Jets, whatever you want to call them. It's been a while since I've messed with the carburetor. Up and down like that. Looks like it's upside down to me if you're riding on a paddle boat. That's how it's supposed to be. This is what you should hear. That's the float moving back and forth, obviously. This is still good, the seal. So I'm going to put it back in there. And then lastly, we'll screw on the bottom. Yep, I'm hoping for the best on this. This is the best treatment that this carburetor's had since I've had it sitting out here, since Dad had it. What do you guys think? Is it gonna work? I hope so. Finally, it took a whole lot more dinking around with that than what I wanted to. And this is going to be our choke cable. I'm going to run it up over the crossbar here, down and in. It's got to run through this bracket, otherwise it's not going to pull right. So just keep that in mind when you put this on. It's going to fit just fine right there. Make sure we got this right. Last thing I want to do is have it on there incorrectly. I'm just coming in right under here. Here's our cable for our choke. Remember, this 200X didn't come with the choke from factory. It's a different carburetor. We're going to go ahead and put that on right there so that way it holds. When I pull it, it's going to do all the choke movement. I'll do that, and then I'll be back, and we're getting real close. Got to put the fuel lines on. I think I'm going to put the fuel lines on without you guys looking. They're just those right there, and got that little clamp for the air hose. Choke switch up here, up, sits in that spot. You can choke it to, I think, 3 different settings. There's 2, there would be the 3rd. Down here, got choke setting 1, 2, 3, and a little more if you want to pull it the rest of the way. So we're doing good. Typically you come down here and you would just pull this up. It wouldn't have a lever. So it's a little bit different than normal, but I personally think it's good to have the choke up there. To each his or her own. Let's put the fuel tank on this. This fuel line's decently hard, so I grabbed some new stuff. The other one just didn't want to bend. It actually cracked the fuel drain, the vent on the bottom, so I'm putting a new one on. We're moving forward, onward, and upward. And that feels good. Do that. We got a big basketball tournament going on today. We're cheering for those guys. What are you guys up to today? I feel like I'm taking forever to put this carburetor on, but sometimes that's just how it goes. Don't have to worry about it. Just keep moving forward. What is the point of worrying? That's how we're going to run it through, just like that. I am going to make a cut in the hose, one place or another here. Let's see. Yep. Put our inline fuel filter on. Cutter anywhere? What do I do with the cutter? Anybody know? No? Guess we're going this route. Well, we've pretty much got 0 fuel out here. Let's see if we can get enough for it to run on reserve. This is the new stuff. Hardly any fuel. I'm gonna go siphon some from the old Chevy. How's that sound, okay? All right. You guys talked me into it. Easily transfer most any liquid, including water, gasoline, and oil. It's great for water toys and sports balls. Never thought we'd use this to siphon fuel out of the old truck. That's what we're doing though. Goodness. This hose comes pre-kinked just for convenience measures. What in the world? Terrible, worthless hose. I mean, it's kinked. How's it supposed to work? It comes from the store that way. They just want you to get your own hose, I guess. Stuff is not meant to be. Which side does what? This thing got a filter on it or something? Anybody know? Okay, this side sucks, huh? All right. Now I do have an electrical fuel pump somewhere that hooks up to the battery. That'd be great. You guys might have seen that when we had some diesel fuel problems. We had gasoline in there. Let's see how much is coming out here. Wow, pretty decent. If you buy one of these from Harbor Freight, if you get some 5/16 fuel line, you can actually use that instead of this hard plastic line, and that will work so much better. I bet this thing might actually be a worthwhile pump if you just make a couple minor upgrades to it. Wish me luck. Thank you very much. Can you guys even see me? Here's the deal, Del. I couldn't get much pumped out of there. Those hoses are just too hard. They don't bend. I'm gonna get some 5/16 fuel line from O'Reilly. And actually that pump I think did come from O'Reilly. So the pump works good, but those fuel lines are pretty hard. I mean, just to unravel them for the first time, they tend to like turn white, like the plastic's gonna break. But I did get enough fuel into this to give it a first try. I got it on reserve. The fuel was coming. I haven't kicked it yet at all, but we're gonna do it. Got toolbox, drawers open, tools everywhere. Way more went into this than I thought it was going to. That's okay. Will it start and run? And by that I mean keep running. For the first time in a couple years, I'm not gonna choke it at first. Let's put the seat back on. It's not leaking any fuel. Good sign. Haven't ridden a three-wheeler in a while. The tank is all secured on. It's great. Are we ready? Everything checked out? Good. All right, we're gonna choke it now. Let's get a fire here. Come on. What's the deal, Del? Oh. Well, let's see. I'm going to make sure that there's actually fuel in the carburetor real quick. We do not have a lot of fuel to waste. Yep. It's got fuel in there. Good. All right, so 1, 2, 3 turns out to start for our air fuel mixture screw. We're on, right? What's the deal? Dell, what's going on? I don't want to kick this thing all day. Choke it again. Nothing? Well, let's check the spark plug. What did I do with my other tools yesterday? I always seem to misplace stuff if I'm not organized. Then I end up in these types of situations. You know how it goes. You guys think that this spark plug is toast? Is that our problem the whole time? I don't think so. Oh my goodness sakes. Spark plug is toast. Doesn't even have the metal on it anymore. You see that? Smoked. How's that supposed to fire? Hopefully it didn't do any damage to the valves. Guess we'll find out. Well, do I have any more? Maybe I got a spare? Let's look. All right, I don't have another spark plug. So I'm gonna go to O'Reilly and get one. We're gonna have to take the Chevy that I just siphoned fuel out of. And that'll be fine. We're gonna dump trash. What are we gonna pick up? We're gonna try to pick up the rack and pinion. Rack and pinion just went bad on the grain Jeep, started leaking, blew a seal. And I'm gonna have to fix that myself because we're trying to be debt free, and when that happens, you don't pay someone to do the work if at all possible. So we gotta stop at Harbor Freight as well because we gotta get a tie rod toolkit where it's got the big 80s looking flashlight piece where you get on there and you turn it free. Never know what you're gonna run into. Maybe check the easiest thing first, huh? Just crazy. Doesn't look like it hit, nothing like that. Just fell off. Definitely not getting this brand again. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves. This spark plug is designed this way. It's Brisk BR12ZC Premium. So I'm gonna wire wheel it off and I'm gonna go over and put the inline spark tester to it and we're gonna see what happens. That looks better. I could take a guess, but you guys know how that goes. Picked up this nice little inline spark tester. I might have gotten it from O'Reilly. Can't tell you for sure, but that's where I think it came from. Let's try this out. Doesn't exactly fit that like I want it to, but that's okay. Oh yeah. Well, now we got spark. If we didn't before, we have it now. We've got fuel. Maybe it was just carboned up. All right, here we go for the win. How could we not be firing, guys? We've got spark in everything. How is it not firing off? Now I wonder if I've got the, you know, it almost seems like it doesn't have compression. Well, there it does. What am I missing here? What is the deal? Well, you guys are seeing it for the first time. That's a joke. Seen it firsthand again, how it's hard to say how things are going to go. I got to run to town yet to pick up that rack and pinion still nonetheless. What is happening here? What's wrong with this thing? Now it's just dry. There's nothing in there. So that's a good sign. At least it's not wet plug and no fire. Throw it back in and we'll try again. I'm going to adjust that air mixture screw in. Probably got it out too far right now. I just wish it was electric start so I didn't have to sit there and kick it over and over again. Try it right there. Choked. Maybe it would help if I hooked up the spark plug wire. What is happening here? Is there a mouse nest in here or something? What's going on? Hey! Getting somewhere. At least we got a fire. I don't like kickstarts anymore. Let's keep adjusting here. I mean, no. Why won't it idle? You need to idle. Come on. Yes, I am going deaf. I'm not even joking. I'm going deaf right now. We're getting somewhere. That's a wheeler. I won't be able to hear much tomorrow. It's okay. Sometimes you gotta feed it the beans after it mistreats you. It shouldn't have been that hard to start. What do you guys think was the problem? Idling a little high right now. We'll see if that calms down. Man, every time you hit the throttle, it just makes your eardrums on alert. That's good. This is as clean as it's been since it was first put on. It's hot. Where's the fuel drainage going? Over there. Good. I haven't ridden a wheeler in quite a while. Kill switch works. I'm definitely deaf. More than I was anyways. And it's a little bit hazy in here with the fumes. This is what you get when you get to be my age. You get this robotical reach. Works good. Oh, the chickens, they like to come in here and scalp whatever they can. The chickens like to come in here and make a mess of everything, so we'll see. Oh, that's a good sign. Whoa, I forgot, it's not a, it's not an automatic. Don't touch it because you get burnt, okay? Tell you what, let me push this outside and we'll get the chickens out of here and I'll give you a ride.
Yeah, it's cool.
It is cool.
Daddy.
Yeah.
That.
Oh, trial and error. Well, I went inside for a little bit, had a little bit to eat and visited with family. It's been sitting outside. It's getting kind of cold out. I'm going to try to ride without a hat on. The rear brake is locked up. I don't know if it's the cylinder or if it is the actual piston itself in the back and the caliper, but they're not very expensive. It's been sitting outside for quite a long time. I think that a lot of the fluid leaked out the back of that brake caliper itself, so I'm going to have to think about what I'm going to do with there. Maybe I take it apart, mess with it, try to free it up. But I think because it looks like it leaked out, I'm probably better off just buying a new one. You can get them online for about $63. Put it on there, good to go, move on. Either way, as long as it runs good tonight, I'm gonna bring it in here, I'm gonna park it right in front of the toolboxes, and I'm gonna list it for sale so we can move it on to somebody else. I'll still fix the rear brake unless somebody buys it right away, but I'm gonna list it right away and I'll just work on it as I can. I will tell you that it ran very well. It put a big smile on my face, and now I'm gonna go ride it again on camera. Got the chickens out today. I thought we lost another one. We lost a few of them this winter, 3 of them. But look at that, there's our little bantam. She was born with a beak that wasn't straight. You can maybe see it, probably not on the camera, but her beak is crooked. She is doing great. I don't have a GoPro mount for the wheeler, and I don't want to break my equipment. So we're gonna put that right there. Yeah, I tried hammering loose the cylinder right here, and it's not, oh, it is kind of coming a little bit. Hey, don't fight. You know what? Maybe. Look at that. I think it's got problems. Something's not moving in the back. Yeah, I think that this is fine, but the cylinder just must be locked up on the caliper or the piston. Maybe there's a few adjustments to make yet. We'll see. It's not terrible though. It's running. Yeah, here we go. Don't break a leg. Yeah. I do need to change the oil on this. It just runs so good. Very nice. Up and down. It's nice. Rolls. This is the only brake I got right here. I don't think you can even complain. What a view, huh? That's right, my friends. It's the Pile Driver. If you guys remember that movie. Yeah, it's fun. You're just gonna have to trust me on this one. Yeah, boy! Woo! I'm running out of petrol. Remember we only had that little bit? I'm running out entirely. Guys, oh, I'm running out of fuel, and there it is. Ran out of fuel. Now I got to push it back. At least I didn't run out way down there. That's it. We're gonna list it for sale tonight. 1984 Honda ATC 200X. A very fun machine. I was talking to Dad earlier, and it's a young man's machine. It's not a machine for us anymore. And I'm not saying that we're old, I'm just saying that, you know, you heard me take off. It gets up and goes. I think the top speed on this with those tires is somewhere around 55 miles an hour. Could be wrong. I think that's what it would do. It's in good shape. We're gonna change the oil on it before we sell it. Hope you guys have a wonderful night. Thanks for being here. I know sometimes it's kind of a challenge to get through an issue, but if you keep sticking to it and working through it, you'll make it. Everybody have a wonderful day. I gotta go pick up that rack and pinion still and that tie rod set so we can put that on the Jeep. See you guys. Chickens are just hanging out. Feels like spring today. Spring is close. The house is holding up pretty good since we worked on it this last summer.